Hey guys, welcome back to YouTube and another episode on, in this case, why cryptos and what's happening with the cryptos market. I mean, a lot of people made an absolute fool of themselves with lots of different crypto projections and all the rest of it. So in this episode we're going to have a look at some true experts of what the actual facts and figures are, and also my opinion on cryptos and also the current market. So don't forget to thumbs up, comment and subscribe. Click the join now button if you'd like exclusive content. And for all those guys that won loads of merch, they are on the way. For those that haven't sent in their clothing size, get doing it. Do you want free merch or not? Definitely do. You do. So yeah, enjoy this. Let's get to the bottom of what's going on in the crypto market.
This time 12 months ago, Bitcoin had just hit its record high of $19,511. But for most of December this year, it's been under 4,000, now at 38.18.
A lot of assets got hurt badly in 2018, but crypto, one of the worst hit. Is it over, or is there more to come in 2019?
Well, Paul, I think there's a lot of exciting things that the crypto ecosystem is looking forward in 2019. One of them, I think, Paul, is really the entry of institutional players. I think in 2018, we saw a lot of the big banks enter the space. In 2019, I expect many more to enter the space as well in different ways. Some of them may decide to launch their own solutions. And this is very good because it will bring the kind of level of institutional expertise and experience to the sector, which is something that the crypto industry needs, especially at a time like today.
If you bought Bitcoin 2 years ago versus the S&P or any other asset, you're still up more. If you bought Bitcoin 2 years ago versus gold, you're still up more. If you bought Bitcoin a year ago, quite frankly, you're still up more. And so you've got to sometimes step back from the immediate and look at the slope we're going on.
All right, to sum it up for 2019 for investors on Bitcoin, final word?
It's going up.
So my opinion pretty much is that a lot of the stuff the guys in Bloomberg are saying is right. We have got the likes of institutions adopting stable coins, which makes sense in my opinion. You've got to start thinking about why is this. I think it was something like 70% of tokens have failed in 2018 due to the price drop is what's getting blamed. But actually it's probably just poor management, the fact they've got nothing really substantial behind them, lack of capital and lack of understanding and goals of what they actually want to achieve in this space. So you've got to like I keep explaining it in this simple terms. Tokens have failed in 2018 because if you take a startup, which is what a new token is, at the core it's a startup business. If you take a startup, okay, and then you were to benchmark its performance against Venezuela, okay, and how mental what is going on in their economy, they're both super volatile. So in this case, if you're taking a token that's going to be super volatile because it's a startup, it's natural, and you take something that is established but very, very volatile, i.e. Bitcoin or Ethereum, or in the bigger world of economics and all the rest of it, Venezuela, and if you take that and you put them together, then what you're going to see? You're going to see mass volatility and you're not going to get real true valuation. So I think moving the crypto space against stable coins makes it realistic for retail adoption, because if you have something that's volatile against a stable coin, you can then adopt the stable coin and then you can cash out your stable coin to fiat, and that whole process can be automated, moved into the retail world. So in my eyes, moving that side of things forward in 2019 would be a great thing, because I could see stable coins becoming the retail side of the crypto kind of space, and all of that side of things. And the more that tokens start adopting stable coins and pairing against stable coins, you'll see volatility drop. You'll see things start becoming more investable in regards to the fact that the volatility is not all over the place and there's actually sort of a value benchmark against them, because they're against something that is stable, hence the name. More so stable than Bitcoin and all the rest of it. So ideally in 2019, that's what I would like to start to see happen, is tokens start de-pegging themselves from ETH and Bitcoin and moving straight against stable coins, to be able to create a stable environment for investors. It makes sense. You're still 100% crypto, and it adds that kind of security level that the volatility is only on one side of the pair rather than both pairs being volatile. If we go to Forex and we talk about the Forex markets, if you look at euro and pound, the volatility is up and down every day. Why? Because the economies are very similar. and they're both choppy. They're both, like I said, tied to each other at the moment until the whole Brexit goes ahead. But at the moment, the economies is very similar. So it's a choppy nature. It's a range-bound currency for trading, just like the Euro Swiss. So when you get something that is both choppy, you're never really going to get a good outcome in price rise. And that's not something that's new. That's in the FX markets. The currencies have been around for hundreds, if not thousands of years, have been around in some of these scenarios. So it's nothing new here. It's just common sense that if you've got something that is volatile, it needs to be pegged against something that is stable to at least understand its true valuation. And that's what I would like to see happen in 2019. Bitcoin, I see, is coming more of a granddad, the out and old, if I'm honest with you, something that is seen as, I think it'll still be around, don't get me wrong, and I think value will still be there, but I just don't think it's going to be the forefront of cryptos in the future. I think the likes of these stable coins that get adopted much more retail, institutional, will have a lot more funding, a lot more liquidity eventually and move forward. Obviously we came off the back of 2018 with a mass sell-off, but still in late December we still saw the highest volume traded in Bitcoin that we have seen ever, without a doubt. So there is volume there is value in volume, so there is something there that is tangible towards this. How I see it panning out in 2019, I'm not going to sit here and make drastic market predictions. In 2018, when I spoke at BI Summit, I said that we'd never see Bitcoin go above 6,000, or I think it was around March time I was there, for the rest of the year until regulations come into play. Regulations didn't come into play. In fact, they just completely fell apart and the market sold off. So my 2019 projection is that we do sit below 6,000. I'm going to openly say that I don't see us going much higher than that until we see regulatory side of things come into play. The more businesses that adopt it, I've got to say there's a big difference between adopting blockchain and adopting cryptocurrencies. Just because we adopt the actual blockchain technology doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to add value here to the total value of the tokens and the cryptocurrencies themselves. If they're not getting used and they're almost redundant, then it's not going to be valuable. Okay, so it's all about making them valuable, making them used, and that means having volume. So we'll start seeing the value of cryptos move to the volume-based ones, because liquidity is important for people that are buying and selling, because we want to be able to get in, get out without losing too much. Another thing I think that was also a bit of a rub-off in 2018 was the fees. So fees were high to get involved in cryptos, going from fiat to crypto, and then buying and so on and so forth. And as more competitors start coming into the market to be able to offer that service, we'll see the fees drop. So we'll see adoption increase as well on the retail front. So I'm looking at on Bitcoin, I'm looking at between 3,000 and 6,000 if dollars, that is. If regulation comes into place, then I think we could see 9,000, if not 10,000. That's if regulatory change comes in, and that has to be, I'm talking UK, Europe, SEC, across the board, to be able to get some sort of unity on what's actually going forward. Now, I know that there is crypto regs potentially coming out from Thailand. They've been pushed back to 2019, so we'll be seeing what's going on in Thailand in that space. I know it's the Philippines as well, and also Dubai is stepping up to the plate and moving forward there. So we'll see the space really develop over 2019. I think over the Middle East and Asia side first, before we see it over in Europe and UK. But overall, I would like to focus my time on investing in 2019 into certain types of cryptos. So my crypto shout this year is both Binance token, BNB, and also Yieldcoin. And the reason why is they both got something very similar in play. And what is happening in that scenario is that the profits that Binance make, they then burn their tokens to get rid of the supply, increase the demand. And almost the same with Yieldcoin. What we're doing is we're buying and selling of Yieldcoin, and then we're locking up the supply that we've managed to gain on top of what we've bought it at. So tokens that are either burning or tokens that are either locking tokens away are the ones that are going to be the value investors for the future, because as long as supply continues to as long as demand continues to increase, the token value will go higher and higher and higher. Now, we will see that start happening, especially with Binance is bigger than Yieldcoin, massively bigger than Yieldcoin, but we'll see that Binance will you'll see the token value start increasing quite dramatically once the crypto market overall starts stabilizing and moving higher. You'll see that starts taking the overall gains, I think, because things like that, where the demand is constantly increasing and there's a use case for it, and the supply is dropping, it makes sense for the value to constantly keep increasing. And the same with Yieldcoin. The more news that gets out there with hitting the public stock market, having the YieldDAO platform really develop, and all these new exciting projects that we have, having use cases is what is going to strengthen the cryptocurrency market. If you was to overlook every single cryptocurrency that has come out in 2018, there's probably one or two that actually have retail use cases. There's that one that came out that created the blockchain phone. That's one, and there's been a few payment systems that have come out as well. But other than that, really, what have we really seen other than other people creating new blockchains, new token types? There's nothing been groundbreaking new technology. And in order to see that adoption, we need to see something retail that's big in the crypto blockchain space that's going to drive the masses, and that's what we need in 2019. So cautions, regulatory change, as always. SEC focus is going to be on the Middle East and Asia for the initial regulatory change. HMRC has also come out with some guidelines, which is interesting. And so I think, like I said, we're still very early doors on the adoption levels, but we're starting to see guidelines, rules starting to come into play now. So I think 2019 is going to be a stabilizing year. I don't think it's going to be a growth year. I think, like I said, we will see a move upwards, because it's very hard to be worse than where we were last year. And the more that the market grows, the more the interest is there, and the more stable the market is, the higher the adoption level will be as well. So focus is on the institutions with the stable coins. I've already spoken to a couple of banks that I'm very close with that are already looking at adopting stable coins and also potentially creating their own one. So that's where institutions will go. They will be focusing on that and regulatory change across the pond in the US and so on and so forth before we see any major changes back here. But again, focus on the tokens, Yieldcoin, Binance Coin, BNB it's called, because those that are burning, those that are storing and locking up are going to be the value investing. So I think there's two different ways to look at this. You've got speculative, which is just hope and smoke that something's going to go up based on the fact that you like it, and then you've got those that actually have a true value reason for why it should go up. If one day there was 50 and then all of a sudden 6 months later there's only 10, but the demand's increasing but there's less to buy, the price goes up. That's the difference. And a very simple way to look at that is looking at cars. If you build a Prius, there's millions of them, the value's going to be dirt cheap. You build 100 McLarens, what's going to happen? The value sells higher, the appreciation goes up. Porsche's a great one, collectors and all the rest of it, and that's what will end up happening. And so that's how we should start to look at crypto. So lengthy conversation, but 2019 is going to be a stabilizing year for cryptos. Let's take this discussion a little bit further. Let's head over to yieldowl.com. Nice pop-up. I'll post it on the forum, and let's take the discussion there. Let's see what other people's opinions are. I would love to see what you say. Comment below. Don't forget to thumbs up and also subscribe. Click the join now button for further content. It's going to be an absolute insane year. Some big stories coming. Not going to announce in this one what I'm up to, but just signed a big contract that I will be hopefully announcing in one of the next videos. Don't forget, it's Entrepreneurs Talking to you tomorrow. Enjoy.